Hello everyone, it's Honey Lou, and this is going to be my wrap up. I believe this is my first wrap up because usually I'm too impatient to actually do a wrap up, but today I feel like doing a wrap up, so that's kind of fun. So I'm going to start with what's fresh in my mind, and so Crow's Magic is what's fresh. I've been working on Crow's Magic. I have the companion book to study it, so thank you. I am borrowing it. I have the little white book, and I wanted to kind of just share the difference in the little white book and the companion book. But anyway, so what I like about the companion book, it has like a little small section of what's going on in each card. So I just started my study with this deck, and what I'm planning on doing is just kind of writing down each of the symbolism, and then I am writing it down. And then even like with the keywords, I'm planning on, if I don't really understand the keyword or I haven't actually looked up like the keyword or the word, I'm writing it in here. So now I kind of just get it. And usually just like going off the keywords, it really just tells you exactly what's going on and what the divination meaning is. So it's kind of cool, like the shape of the zero is an egg, and then you got the blocks, you got a silver eagle, and then you got a moon or a sun. But anyway, so I've been actually just looking up what silver means, what the eagle spiritual meaning is, and that's pretty much all I am doing. I haven't got too far. I got to the Musician, the High Priestess, and then the Hierophant. But that's basically what I'm just going to write in this is the keywords, define them, and then explain what's going on in the cards so I know like what animal is, because some of these animals I don't know exactly what animal it is, like with the reptiles and stuff. So this is nice for me just to have like a little write-up of each of the card, and so that's what I'm doing right now. And so what I like about Crow's Magic is that it's very airy. There's a lot of words. It pairs well with a lot of decks. But anyways, okay, so the divination meaning, it shows the same, pretty much the same in the companion book. I forgot to say that. But the little white book doesn't show the visuals. It doesn't show like, the animal and, the symbols. And so I wanted to do all that. But what I've been pairing with this deck, this is a fun deck to pair. It goes well with a lot of my decks. This isn't really my colors. This isn't really like the colors that I usually like or like pick. I'm very multicolor person, and but it's been going well with other decks, like decks that I do love, and so it's a really nice deck to complement other decks. And so yeah, the Syrian Starseed Tarot is one of my favorite pairs with the Crow's Magic. Sorry, I am not even looking at the camera. But one thing is that they are glossy cardstock. I feel like the glossy cardstock works really well. And then it really pops out like, the fire, and you see this, like the celestial kind of cosmic kind of look, and they're both very like cosmic. So these go really well, and then you could see the colors right there, and then you see the colors everywhere else. So it really matches perfectly, I feel. Even the purples, you see purples, and so that's a fun pairing. Another fun pairing is the Alchemy Kim Kranz Oracle So these are both like pretty abstract. They look really good together. I like that. And so I've been writing the keywords around the edges with a white gel pen, and I think that makes it look really cool. I am not done yet, but that's another pairing that I like to do with Crow's Magic. One second. And I found that Londa Marks did a really good job with making each card really compatible, like with even like the gold eagles. It has a really good meaning. The color choices she chose for the animals, like even with the silver eagle, and just like the gold people, the snake, like there's a lot of thought that went into this deck. So that's really cool about that deck. Spirit animals, I like spirit animal spirits Kim Krans because there's a lot of animal archetypes in this deck, and so I thought these would be a really good pair together. I think they would complement each other really well. And my nose started like running now. I don't know why, but animals are the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans as well. Works really well with this deck. I like to pull a few cards, and for both, they're really nice. I like the colors there, and then, you know, it really kind of brings out everything. The cups are similar too. They look pretty close. Another fun one is the Telesma Tarot. I really love the Telesma Tarot's guidebook. It's one of my favorite go-to guidebooks. Just to get a quick divination meaning if I'm kind of getting stuck, I like to go through this guidebook and just kind of picking one that resonates sometimes when I'm feeling stuck. But the colors go really well together for these two. And you could see even like the little blocks there, you see it just everywhere. It's a really beautiful pair. It's one of my favorites. Okay, and then one more I'll show you with the Crow's Magic. I have not tried Thoth. Honestly, Thoth is just a tarot that I do like to I usually just use it by itself, but it is fun to pair. Dirt Gems is awesome. It's awesome aesthetically. I am not too fond of the guidebook of Dirt Gems, but I would never get rid of this deck. This deck is safe in my collection, but I do like to pull a few cards, read the message. This deck I'm just going to have to spend more time with, figure out maybe like one keyword that I'd want to add to each of these cards. But yeah, Dirt Gems does pair well with everything. It's an extremely beautiful deck. And I love the way it sounds. It just sounds cool. It's very nice. Okay. So we're done with the crow's magic. I went on a road trip, a couple-day road trip with my mom and my sister, and we went to Homer, and that's like a 3-hour drive, and so there, I took a few decks. I didn't take too much. I took like 5 maybe. So the decks that I took was Tantric Tarot. This is like my favorite fall deck. It's a very Virgo deck. I like to use this deck in the darker months, and I feel like this deck looks really beautiful in the dark, which makes sense. I don't know why, it just looks beautiful like at nighttime when I'm using it. The colors really pop to me when I just have like a lamp on and I'm reading. I took my Thoth, and I was like trying to pick, like, do I want to pick decks that I don't really use, or do I want to pick my favorite decks? And I chose to pick my favorite decks, and then I picked ones I didn't know, and it worked out really well. Other deck that I chose to take on our road trip was the Carol Herzer Starlight. I chose to take the Jean Noble, and I took Tantric Tarot, and then I took my other Thoth. I took 2 Thoths, just because I wanted them to go on a road trip with me. And we had a lot of fun. We went to a crystal shop. It was cool, but there was like some tarot decks were authentic there, and then some of them weren't. So I didn't want to buy anything because I didn't know if it was going to be authentic or not. With like crystals, they had a beautiful crystal there, but it didn't feel heavy. And my other crystals feel really heavy, and they're smaller than the crystals that they were there. I don't know, it was just really strange. But it was a beautiful crystal shop. I just wasn't too sure about it. Okay, so the Tantric Tarot I've been pulling out a lot lately. This is my favorite deck, one of my favorite decks. But it's been vibing really well with me lately. I took a break with this deck in the summertime, but now it's just kind of came back to life, and I really love it. I've been rereading the guidebook, and so every little thing's been making more sense as I keep reading it, and learning more about just different culture, mythology, and so, yeah. The Thoth, there's Thoth for the swords, and then there is Hungarian mythology for the, was it wands? I think it was the wands. But yeah, so I am learning more with this deck. It's really special. I really love the guidebook. This is Isis. I really like there's a poem about this that was about a poem, and it was about these two had to split away, and then after later of learning and stuff, they rejoined, and then they got married, and it was really sweet. And there's just like cute, subtle humor. This is Seth from the Egyptians who killed Orias I don't know his name, Isis husband. So it's cool. I really love this. There's so much thought that went into this deck. Okay, and the Jean Noble Tarot. I really love this deck so much. It's really special. I wasn't going to take this deck, but I just had to. I felt like I was kind of at my limit of decks to carry, but this one I stuffed in a different bag, so it wasn't in my backpack. I have really like a small backpack, but it fit all my decks in it, except for this one made it like too tight, so I put this in the diaper bag, and yeah. Very special. Okay, so the Carol Herzer Glitter Tarot. This deck is stunning. I really like the way it feels in your hands, and it's quiet when you shuffle it, so I really like that about this deck. I wonder if Carol Herzer is a Virgo, just because the Hermit is like one of her go-to cards to put on her decks. Maybe she's Aquarius, I don't know. She has the Star, the Hermit, so they must be symbolic to her some way. But yeah, it's very special. She really knows how to use color. So this deck traveled with me my misprint Thoth I took with me. I cleaned it up. It was getting like really green everywhere. I cleaned it up a little bit. It's not super clean, but I did brighten up the images more, and it's easier to shuffle because mine is chipping, and so the chipping is turning the edges green. But I think it looks really cool. I'm a little worried at the same time, but I do like the way it's looking. But yeah, this is just the way they, this deck got mixed up in the decks that were sold, and so this is how they kind of warm up the printing machines. They'll do this, and so this is how it just got into a box, and I was able to find a copy on eBay. And it was an impulse buy, and I was really stoked, and I don't care. It was so worth it. I think it's really special to have this deck. It's just one of a kind, and I cherish it a lot. So really love this deck. This is probably one of my most used decks for the fall and Kazandler Tarot. I really love how light this one is too. A lot of light colors and dark borders. And I like the little splashes of white. It's very artistic. Artistic, and it's supposed to be garbage. It's, what's that saying? Another person's trash is another person's treasure, or you know how that saying goes. Well, this is my treasure. Okay, so I use Tantric Tarot. I use this oracle the most. I read the guidebook. I use this deck a lot on the car rides. So I was enjoying this deck. I am warming up to this deck more and more. I do like the system. It's kind of involves a tarot system, so it's familiar. I put the little marks on there. I did that when I first got this deck, and then I put it away for a while, and it just felt right to pick this deck up and use it again. So I've been using this deck a lot. It's really cool. So I'm looking forward to learning more. This is one of my favorite cards. I like it. I like the colors. Okay, and then the other Thoth that I took with me is my other greenie. so I don't really have that much to say about it, other than it feels more fall just because it's more darker. I've noticed that I kind of gravitate towards my darker themed Thoth in the fall, and then the light or the summer, spring, I gravitate towards my lighter versions of Thoth. But sometimes it's just like my mood too. If I'm feeling bright and happy, I will switch with the lighter ones, and then when I'm feeling more kind of moody and edgy, I will grab the green one. I really like the backs too. They're really dark and vibrant, and even the artwork's really vibrant in this copy of it. And they all feel different to me. They don't feel the same. They all have like their own purpose in my collection. I was thinking about doing a update versions of my Thoth. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. If you guys are sick and tired of my Thoth, let me know too. Okay, so another deck that I was working a lot with is the Heart's Eye Oracle. I've been like in a really weird funk lately, and I'm finally feeling better. I don't know if it's because of the planets retrograding or what, but I like to blame it on that. But so many things have been coming up. This is my favorite card. This is by Olivia Rose too. I don't know if I should just share that real quick. I really love her art style. She has like a certain aesthetic that she mastered. That's like her own artwork. Nobody else's. But anyway, so I've been like in a weird funk, really triggered, really annoyed, really angry. A lot of things I thought that I healed were coming back up, and it was just constant, like trying to take note of it, be present, try to watch the thinker, that's they say is watch the thinker. And it was just really stuck energy, and it was just making me really angry. And I knew it was because of just the way it was like I was back in survival mode. So what's been helping with that is I've been using a lot sweeter stuff. I've been learning how to do, I've been reading reversals too, for some reason, and that's really cool. But there was a lot of stuck energy, and so what I've been doing is I've been just journaling everything that's been coming to mind, what's been making me angry, and it's really kind of released that anger that I had, and it was just mostly of past traumas and just old things that I couldn't control, I guess. So it's been a really weird month. I've been sleeping a lot, and I'm very productive, and so when I'm not productive, I get really angry too. So I've been just feeling like a loser. Very hard on myself. Okay, so the Spolia Tarot I've been using a lot, and I've been using this as reversals. I've been warming up to this deck a lot. I really like it. I like the way the book is written. It's really hard to get out of the packaging, but this is a nice deck to do reversals just because it's easy to read. It's an easy reader. So I don't know if I put everything back upright. I may have, because I tried to film this video a few times, so I think I may have done that already. This deck is special. I really like the cardstock. It's hard to shuffle, but it gives it its charm about it. So I wouldn't want the cardstock any other way. I think I had a little bit of buyer's remorse when I first got this deck. Yes, I did, because I tried to sell it. But now I'm past it, and so now I am enjoying it, and things worked out, so I was able to just keep it. And yeah, I was just feeling kind of guilty about buying it, but it was like my only time to get it, and this deck is expensive, so if you want to get it, expect to pay a lot of money for it, or if you get lucky, you could always hope for the best. Have faith that you can find it cheap. I've actually seen it a few times for pretty decent prices, but I didn't pay a decent price. I paid overpriced, and I feel really guilty about it. Okay, so Igorov was another deck that I loved this September, and I did use this reversals too. don't remember if I fixed the reversals, but yeah, I finally was playing with this deck and using reversals. Same with Spolia. I like how it's kind of, it feels similar in a way. I do love the borders. It has thick cardstock like Spolia. Yeah, it's special. But it was a fun deck to do reversals. I like the guidebook. I found the guidebook to be very useful. And I learned quite a bit using this deck. Also, so it's Russian art. I am baptized as Russian Orthodox. Oops, I'm sorry. And so when you get baptized in a Russian Orthodox church, you get a Russian name. And mine is Matrona. And it's Matrona, but it's Matrona. So yeah, that's my Russian name, Matrona. I don't know how to even pronounce it correctly, but you know. That's that. Seven of Swords, one of my favorite with the Little Mermaid. Two of Cups is one of my favorites. I like the color theme to this deck, and I like how spacious it is, so it's easy and nice to read. It's kind of a breeze to read with. Okay, so I've been reading with the Light Seers Tarot too. This deck is very comforting. I've been reading reversals. This deck works really well with reading reversals, and it's very flowy. I do love this deck. It's not really my aesthetic, but it works. And so I like that it's just a good deck. All around, like a really good deck. And I would recommend it to anybody. So everybody knows what this deck is. Movies I've been really enjoying is Elemental. It's on Disney Plus. It is so cute. It makes me cry. It's basically about how elements don't mix, but there's like the fire and water. I'm fire, and then there's like the water guy, and I don't know. It's really sweet. Everybody should go watch it. I learned so much about it too, because even though there's a part like, you know, there's a part where, because she's like, take breath, make connection, take breath, and then she gets all angry because her anger is trying to tell her something. And so when I was getting angry too, usually that tells me something. It's because I don't want to do something and I feel obligated to do it, or it's not my passion, and I feel so like it's very cringing. Now that I know, like, I can't do things that I don't want to do because it's not my heart's purpose, you know, it's not my heart's desire. And so I related to that movie a lot. And anyways, that's all I'm going to tell you. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. I think that's pretty much everything that I've been doing. I've been playing with this deck, Guardian of Lucid Daydream Oracle. I've been pulling a few cards, but not really. It was like for only a day. But I've been doing reversals with this deck too. I think I fixed it. But I have a printout of the guidebook. I think the guidebook is like solid. And this deck works really well on its own too. Or you could just pull it some clarifiers, but it's a really good deck for, it's very balanced too. Oh yeah, I got two other things. I didn't really buy anything this month except for the Doll deck, and I got a couple trades from my friend, Whispers from Beyond, Cheryl. So I got the Phantasmagoric Tarot. This deck is super cute. I've had my eye on this deck for a really long time, and I'm really happy that I was finally able to get it. It kind of reminds me of like that Saki kind of energy, very moody. Saki isn't moody, but this is very like just kind of like seeing your spirit, and it's just weird. And I really love the cardstock. I love the size of it, and it shuffles really well. But I am happy to have this deck in my collection. It's a keeper for sure. Also, I love that card so much. It's just strange, and it puts me in a really good mood. My favorite card is the Chariot. I just want to show you that card. but it's so cute. I love this card too. I love his hair. The Two of Cups is super cute. Oh, so good. So good. Chariot's my favorite. I really love the colors. But yeah, this is just amazing. So much fun. I did work with this deck when I first got it, and then I kind of put it away for a little bit, but it will get its time. I think it's just because I'm feeling more of that moody kind of work. And, oh, and I got some runes I'm excited to dig into. I did print out some charts on my wall. Came with a really cute crystal. There's like 2 different sets of runes in this set that I got from Cheryl. I did a trade with her, but it's cute little pebbles. It's very neutral, and they're pretty small. But I haven't dug into the book that she gave me, but I do have a chart, so I could just pull a few, but I'm going to eventually dig into that, probably after Crow's Magic book. I'm excited about this book. Energy Oracle cards I've been really loving for the weird funk I've been in. I've been reading reversals with this deck too, and I found it to be very useful. So yeah. Oh, this is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. I guess I'll show you these that I've been pulling cards from once in a while. Tarot of Color, I've been pairing Tarot as color with my Heart's Eye, the Heart's Eye Oracle, and my Thoth with my lighter 1978 Thoth in the beginning of the month. So yeah, I've been just pulling a few cards from this deck. My favorite cards is the Empress, the Tower, the High Priestess is one of my favorites, Strength's one of my favorites. But it's Thoth inspired. I really like how this deck complements other decks really well. So yeah, this deck is it's really beautiful. It's fine art feeling and very clean and sleek. I like the thick cardstock, but it's really beautiful. And then my other one, the Tarot di Dante. This deck is out of print. It was published in 1983. I love the backs. The backs are my favorite. This is the name. And then here is the copyright. So this deck is really special in my collection. It's kind of a collector's, but I do like to pull a few cards from this deck. So one of the cards came like with a crease in it, and then it was kind of cool that this deck had a extra that was nice, and you can't really see it. Oh yeah, this one is the one with the crease, but I don't know if you could see it. So it was cool that this deck came like perfect condition, mint condition. Everything is perfect about this deck. I really think this deck is perfect for the spooky season just because there's like green people, there's like really weird sense of humor, so it is spooky. You see like green people that look like zombies, and it's just strange and cool. So I would love to get into more Tarot decks, more into the Italian kind of decks that I haven't even heard of, because I'd never even heard of this deck until I got it from the Eye. But this deck is really special, very different. The guidebook is not in English, so I don't really know how to go about that, but it's just really special. I like to look at this deck occasionally and play with pairs. I think this deck is just fun to photograph too. It's one of my favorite cards, the Judgment. The death definitely looks very spooky. Oh yeah, and I forgot to pick. I've been working with the Herb Crafter Tarot. I don't know where I put it. And the Vampires Tarot, I joined Lisa Papez's membership thing, and so now we're going to work on the Vampire Tarot. I'm super stoked. The Herb Crafter Tarot, I learned a lot from that deck. I really love the cardstock on that deck. I need to work with it more. I need to learn more about the plants, but I do think it's a keeper in my collection, and it was a fun deck to work with. I'm just going to check to see if these would pair well, because I wanted to check. Maybe. They're cool. But anyways, yeah, so the Vampire Tarot. I think this is exactly how I would envision vampire energy to look like, is this deck. The only thing I don't like about this deck is that the cardstock isn't the best. And I wish the images were a little bit larger, but overall I think it's a really nice deck. It has a big meaty guidebook, so I think this deck is just done really, really well. Just the cardstock would be changed, would be nice. I like how the colors match. So these kind of would work, but I just feel like this is just too realistic looking, and this is more abstract, so it would look good with like collages. This is just too much texture in it, too much detailing, so I don't think this would look good with the crow's magic. But there's beautiful, sexy vampires in this deck. Okay, so I think I'm done. Pretty sure. So decks I'm looking forward to is the Tarot of Her. I'm going to back that today. Other decks, I don't know, I think that's what I'm like looking forward to now. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye!